Hi, today I'd like to share some techniques on how you can memorize your songs. Now, I have a terrible memory, and I'm just interested in helping those that would like to learn more about how to memorize music. Maybe you're great at it. I have challenges, so I have developed some techniques and I've read some books, and hopefully this will help you. And what I use is a technique called mental imagery. I make sort of a movie in my mind of the song, and as the words progress it goes from scene to scene, and each scene has to connect to the other or else it won't work. And I'll show you how I do it by just going right to a song that I've just been working on. This is a song by Smash Mouth called All Star. And I thought I'd use this song because it has a lot of words, they go fast, and it really helped me to use this technique. In fact, I memorized this song in just a couple of hours. So the way the song goes is, somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. That's the first line. And what I picture is a guy walking down an alleyway and two guys sort of in the wings that are gonna mug him. Okay, and then the next line is, I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. And the next scene is behind him, there's a shed as things progress, and it's open and there's tools inside. And the next scene is, she was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. So I picture a girl in the back of the shed with that L loser sign on her head. Perhaps she's working with those two guys that are going to mug the guy. So, and then what happens in the next line, it gets sort of figurative here, but and the more figurative the better. The years start coming, they don't stop coming, back to the rules, and I hit the ground running. Well, I picture a world, and I'm on this world. It's sort of like a whirlwind of just all these things I'm doing, and it just doesn't stop. It just keeps rolling. So that's how I remember those next two lines. And the next, it goes into the next sequence, like, it didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. And what I picture is myself on a pogo stick, you know, just sort of jumping around. It didn't make sense not to live for fun, just having a carefree time. And then, but he's got a helmet on and he's hitting his head on things. Okay, your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. Okay, so he's having a carefree lifestyle, but he's hurting himself. So that's just the way my mind works. It's crazy, I know, but it works for me. And then what happens is he goes out into the alleyway now, and so much to do, so much to see, so what's wrong with taking the back streets? I picture him going out in the alleyway, and there's all these sort of like stores in the back alley with art on them, and they're, you know, the back side of the alley is like the back of stores, and I'm seeing all these things. And then so what's wrong with taking the back streets? So he's going along the back streets. You'll never know if you don't go, you'll never shine if you don't glow. So what I'm picturing now, he's going into one of the stores and he's going to do something. He's going to shine. You're never going to shine if you don't glow. And now it goes into the verse. And he is a great athlete, and he's a great rock star, and he's getting ready, and hey, now you're an all-star, get your game on, go play. So what he's doing is coming in now, he's getting ready, he's getting dressed up for the show. He's going to put on a show. Hey, now you're a rock star, get the show on, get paid. Now he's starting to do the show, he's a rock star. And then the next verse is, all that glitters is gold. I picture sparkles and, you know, sort of like the fireworks they do when a show starts, and only shooting stars, you know, break the mold. Because he's a shooting star and he's going to break the mold. He's going to be a new superstar. And that's how I memorize this song. Now the next verse gets pretty tricky because yeah, it really moves faster. So what I do is I start off when he's finished his show. He's going into a room to change, and it's a cold room. It's a cool place, and they say it gets colder. I picture an air conditioner on the ceiling, and but the media, but you're bundled up now. Wait till you get older now. Then I picture putting him in a coat, and you know, he's got maybe an old guy standing next to him. Okay, but the media men beg to differ. Judging by the hole in the satellite picture, I picture him going outside now, and there's a newscaster there with a camera, and they're talking about the, you know, the weather, a hole in the ozone. That just helps me get to that line. Okay, so you can do whatever you want. And then he goes out the door, and the next thing that happens is he hits the ice. The ice we skate is getting pretty thin, the water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. So he hits the ice, but the ice breaks and he goes in the water. And then he says, "My world's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I like it, and I never get bored." So what happens is he starts, once he gets in the water, he starts swimming. He gets like excited, and because he's got people cheering for him, his world's on fire, how about yours? So that's just sort of how a way I learned that song. What I'll do also now is I'll go to another song. I'll go to, let's say, a Beatles song, Come Together. This is another one I've just started working on. And this song I think would be interesting to you because it's a very figurative song. It's very hard to make a mental movie of this song because it's so descriptive and there's so many adjectives. So I thought I'd show you how I do it, and then you can do it in your own way. Let's see, it starts with, here comes old flat top, he comes grooving up slowly. And I picture a guy with a sort of a crew cut on his head, like a flat, cut on his head, and he's grooving, he's moving. He's a cool guy, he's a hip dude. He's got JoJo eyeball, he won Holy Roller. He's got those funny springy eyeballs, and he's a holy roller. He's got like a Bible in his hand, and he's preaching to people. And he's got long hair, he's got hair down to his knees. So it's all about the head in this first verse. So you see, you can also you can take a section, one whole verse can be like a part of a body. It can be your head. And you can take this song and use the head as the first verse. So when you think of Come Together, think of the guy's head. He's got a crew cut, here comes old flat top. He's grooving, he may be moving his head back and forth, grooving up slowly. He got JoJo eyeballs, those eyeballs with the springs on them. And he's one holy roller, he may be yelling and preaching. And he got hair, he's got the long hair down to his knees. And he's got to be a joker. You could picture a joker hat on him. He'd just do what he pleased. So that whole first verse, you could fit just thinking of a person's head. And many times it's a great idea. I'll use songs like that and just go through parts of the body. Another one I do is Pride and Joy. It talks about the sight to the blind in the first verse. I think of the head. Then the next verse, it talks about I love her with my heart and soul. I go down to the heart part. And then the next verse is long and lean. I go to the long and lean, waist part. And then for the last part, it's like the finest wine. I picture somebody stomping on grapes. So I go through the whole body, and that helps me memorize that whole song just by thinking of the different parts of the body. Another one that I do is a lot of times when I memorize a song, I'll think of a room in a house, and say the person's at the front room, and maybe the first scene or first verse of the movie, it will happen in the front room. And then the next verse of the song, the guy will move to the kitchen, and the kitchen will remind me of that whole verse. It'll take things in the kitchen that will remind me. And then I'll go to another room, like the den, and the next verse will be centered around the den. So these are just a few techniques that you can use to make mental images and memorize your music easier and make it fun at the same time.